This video was created by VinylicPuma of VinylicPumaGaming. Hey guys, so I've been playing Doom's single-player campaign, and I've been really enjoying it so far. Honestly, I was expecting this game to be a lot harder than it actually is. Now, I'm certainly not complaining though, as something like Call of Duty World at War's campaign on Veteran mode was almost like way too hard. It was insane. Even still, if you do find that you're struggling, I've got some tips that I think should help you out during the single-player campaign for Doom 2016. Don't worry, I'm going to keep the spoilers to a minimum, and I won't discuss aspects of the plot at all. Basically, what I'm going to spoil is the fact that, for example, you can find a certain weapon earlier than you normally would in an earlier level in the game, but I'm not going to tell you exactly where that specific weapon is, so you will be able to find it for yourself. Now, with all of that out of the way, these are going to be the top 6 best tips, tactics, and strategies for Doom 4 or Doom 2016's single-player mode. Alright, so our first tip here is going to be to keep moving while you're in combat. Generally, one of the best things that you can do is to continuously move around, as this will help you dodge enemy attacks more frequently. In fact, standing in one place makes it more likely that you'll get hit and that you'll die really quickly. It's also worth mentioning that most demon enemies attack with melee attacks, and while some do have projectile-based attacks, most are fairly easy to dodge as long as you are constantly moving around and properly dodging enemy attacks. For example, you're not going to want to charge an enemy that can shoot projectiles at you, although you are going to be fine charging an enemy that can deal melee attacks. You can unload a shotgun into their face, and then you can glory kill them. Now, usually most big fights take place in big open spaces, so there is plenty of room for you to move around, and usually you aren't going to get attacked by this really powerful enemy in a really confined space, so you can move around, dodge, and do what you need to do. My next step here is going to be to advise you to explore and take your time with the levels. If you can figure them out, try to acquire all of the secrets that you possibly can, and also try to complete the challenges. By exploring the level and completing those challenges, you get weapon upgrade points, which you can use to improve certain aspects of your weapons. So for example, if you have an attachment on your gun, you can upgrade its abilities by simply either exploring the level and just completing those challenges that are listed to you. I also recommend that you go ahead and take your time to explore the levels, because in some cases you can acquire certain weapons earlier than normal. For example, in Know Your Enemy, which is the second level in the game, you can acquire the plasma rifle earlier than you normally would, and in Meltdown, which is the third level in the game, you can acquire the rocket launcher earlier than you normally would. Now I'll leave it up to you to find those guns for yourself. My third tip is going to be to learn your weapons and experiment with different weapon combos and different strategies. So for example, did you know that the standard UAC zombie-like enemies can be killed with a well-placed headshot with the starter pistol on both Ultra Violence and Nightmare difficulty? You can also kill some of the other early demons in the game with a well-placed shot to the head, provided that you charge that starter pistol. And really, I would say these two tips alone will allow you to save some of that precious combat shotgun ammo early on in the game, possibly even later on into the game with other weapons that you may find. You might also be better off with the burst fire upgrade for the combat shotgun as opposed to the explosive upgrade, as the explosion damage that the explosive attachment causes can actually hurt you. Now, the chainsaw can pretty much insta-kill enemies, however you have limited fuel and you should use it wisely. I'd recommend using the chainsaw up against like Hell Knights or just really strong enemies, especially if you get into a pinch. Our fourth tip is going to be fairly obvious, and that is going to be glory kills and more glory kills. In addition to looking really cool and being extremely brutal, glory kills will restore a portion of your health, and this can be really useful if you somehow manage to get really low on health during combat. What you can do is you can simply shoot an enemy until they start to flash either blue and or orange, and then melee them to get some of your health back. Occasionally you can also receive ammo this way. However, really, if you need ammo, what I'd recommend you do is that once you acquire the chainsaw, you can perform glory kills with that, and that will restore a significant portion of your ammo pool for your guns. This can be extremely useful if for some reason you do run out of ammo for some weapons during arena fights. However, at the same time, you should use the chainsaw wisely, as ammo for the chainsaw itself is fairly limited. Our fifth and sixth tips are going to be revolving around upgrades. Our fifth tip is going to be upgrading your suit. It's worth mentioning that you can upgrade the various abilities of your suit. For example, you can improve the duration of power-ups, or you can improve the speed that you swap weapons, to just name a few. You can also reduce the amount of damage that you take from causing explosions, and more specifically, you can negate the damage you take from an exploding barrel this way. And in my opinion, that's really useful, because early on when I started playing Doom, I got killed a lot because I would shoot an enemy and I guess I'd like hit an explosive barrel and then it would kill me. Upgrading your suit during your first playthrough with navigation upgrades can also make finding secrets much easier to find as well, which will also give you more chances to get more weapon upgrade points. And finally, our sixth tip is going to be make sure you explore the entire level before purchasing new weapon attachments or upgrades. Sometimes you can find a new weapon later on in a level after exploring it a little bit. And if you go ahead and redeem your new weapon attachment too early, you might miss out on a really good attachment for that new gun that you just found and that you really like. The same thing goes for weapon upgrades you get for completing challenges. I recommend you wait and spend those on weapon attachments or just guns that you actually want to upgrade for those like weapon attachments. For example, if you find you really like the burst fire attachment for the combat shotgun, put all of your weapon upgrade points into that, as opposed to spreading it out over among different like weapon attachments that you kind of don't particularly like. Anyway guys, that's going to pretty much wrap up this particular video. If you like this video, please be sure to leave a like. And as always, take care and I'll see you all next time.